to write for some of the major business platforms and publications, some people like, oh, it just feels like your stuff is not as positive and inspiring. And, it's not that it's not positive and inspiring. I want to give people the real take about what it really requires for you to be successful in business, and that so many businesses fail. They don't make it to 5 or 10 years, yet alone to 15 years. So, you have to go into it with your eyes open, and you have to understand that it's going to be a journey. And I had so many skeptics that did not believe I was going to make it. And I remember when I started to share the vision for Jamel Sanders International with certain people way back then, and you can immediately see the skepticism. You could immediately see the doubts of some people. You could look at some people like, he's crazy. What is he talking about? And I had so many critics tell me that I was unrealistic and too ambitious. And, I look back now and I said, well, maybe I was a little out of it when I was, writing and scripting some of this out. But I have always believed from the inception that I had the ability to empower the world through my life and my work. And I didn't fully know what that looked like at that time, but I just remember people saying to me, "You're too ambitious. You're dreaming too big. You need to come back down to earth. You're not going to do all of that." And I laugh about it today because a lot of this came from individuals who I look at today that are living very mediocre lives. They're not living lives that I would want to emulate. They're not doing anything of real impact in the world. But at that time, those words were very, very hurtful to me, because it's like, oh, wow, people really think I'm going to fail at this. I'm not going to be able to succeed at doing this. And I had so many negative comments directed at me that I could spend this entire episode spelling out the things that were said about me at that time. And that's another thing. If you're going to be a leader, period, you have to have what I call mental toughness. You got to have that mental resolve and fortitude that you're not looking for the affirmation or validation or confirmation of other people to do what you do. But if you believe that that's what you should be doing, and you have the strategy and the things in place, you do it. Stop waiting for everybody. There are people that will never agree with you. There are people that said I was crazy. They don't know why I'm doing this. It's not working. And some of those same people today are singing a different tune. But if I had listened to that, I would have given up a long time ago. And so, what I'm telling you is that you have to beware of the dream killers in your life, and make sure that you're not sharing your vision and dream with an abortionist. Make sure that you don't have people around you that are secretly, hoping for you to fail and undermining your success and what it is that you're endeavoring to build. Um, People did not expect me to succeed, and they were not shy about it. And I feel like this is a lesson that all of us can apply to our lives, because everybody has had somebody that has doubted them, that didn't believe in them, that has put them down in some form or fashion in their lives. And it may not be entrepreneurship for you. It may be a goal. It may be this big dream that you want to accomplish. I just want to remind you to stop consulting everybody about your vision and what it is you want to do, and make sure that you stay committed to the life that you were born for. However, 15 years later, JSI continues to stand, and I'm grateful that I did not give up. Um, whew, Not giving up. You got to be resilient when it comes to anything great that you want to do in life, because the moment that you make a decision that you're going to accomplish something, you're going to build something, you're going to construct something, you're going to engineer something, you're going to immediately be met with hostile resistance, whether it's from people close to you, whether it's from fears and insecurities, whether it's from inferiority complexes, whether it's from self limiting beliefs and perceptions, internal dialogues, something is going to try to get in the way. And if you are not a resilient person that is persistent and refuses to give up, you're going to give up and you're never going to see the manifestation of what it is that you want to see in your life. Entrepreneurship is one of the hardest things I have ever done in my life. This is why I find it so funny when I see on social media 30 days, six figures. By December 31st, you should be at $1.2 million. You should have, I mean, and that's great. And there are some exceptions where that happens. But the reality is that most businesses do not become an overnight success. Some of the greatest business titans in the world, some of the biggest business mavericks in the world, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years before they saw real success in their journey. I even look at people like one of the greatest people that I studied, Steve Jobs, had failure after failure. Apple even kicked him out of the company for a time before he rose to the colossal success that we know of today. And I mean, there's so many stories, there's so many things that we could look at to as we go into this. And I could take you through so many different entrepreneurs, but the reality is entrepreneurship is hard. It is difficult, and you got to have thick skin. You got to have resilience. You got to have mental toughness. You got to have emotional awareness and stability, because if you don't, then all of the turbulence and the trials and tribulations of business are going to take you out. And that's why I don't want you to be fooled by the gurus and the experts on social media. Your business, more than likely, is not going to blow up overnight. I know we all feel in our heart of hearts that we have the greatest idea since sliced bread. But the reality is that more times than not, somebody else has that idea also. That's why businesses have something called competitors. That's why businesses have to find a competitive edge or a comparative advantage in business, because yes, you may have this good idea, but somebody else may have that idea. And if you don't have the ability to interpret that idea in the proper manner, your business is going to struggle and your competition will continue to thrive and you will continue to lose. And so I always tell people, stop trying to go for this big out of the box idea, and get the idea you have and find ways to explore that idea, to develop that idea, and to differentiate, excuse me, yourself and your industry or your market with that idea. Because more than likely, somebody else is going to do it. McDonald's does not have a monopoly on burgers. That's why we have Wendy's. That's why we have Burger King. That's why we have all of these different burger chains. Um, we could go into nobody has the market cornered on ice cream. Nobody has the market cornered on skincare. Nobody has the market cornered on bath soap. Nobody has the market cornered on vehicles. There's all of the brands, there's all of the types. And so it's not about you trying to come up with the most unique idea in the world. I mean, absolutely. You want to be a unicorn. You want to have that novelty, and that novel idea that just makes you stand out. But even if you do have a novel idea, by the time you put that novel idea out, there's somebody watching you that's going to take that idea and do something different with it, and that's going to become your competition. And so the thing that I really want people to understand about business is that this is not overnight. This is going to be work. And as you grow and expand more and you encounter competition, you're going to have to continue to think at a different level to maintain your advantage. You know, I always tell people to think divergently as an entrepreneur and as a leader, because you got to always be thinking ahead and thinking forward so that you can maintain your edge in whatever it is that you're doing. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning with adoring fans and a global brand presence. I know that's what they sell us on social media, but that's not the reality. I think about the years of trying to get a message in front of people with no results. I think about the years where you could not get hardly five people to engage with a post. You couldn't get